You're listening to Range Minded from Independence Indoor Shooting. Before we get started, we want to remind you to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Range Minded Podcast and give us a like and a follow if you could. We really would appreciate it. Plus, we appreciate any feedback or episode ideas you may have as well. You can email those to podcast@iishooting.com. This is episode number 50, which is part 2 of our Getting to Know the IIS Staff series. We sit down with Jon Carnes, a great firearms instructor and a huge wealth of knowledge behind the counter. Jon talks about his time serving in the Marine Corps, a little bit about how different military firearms training is compared to civilian firearms training, and how he's found his passion in the firearms world. Now, we do have to say that this episode has a few more curse words on it than normal, but we've done our best to bleep most of them out. And on top of that, we do get into some pretty heavy topics, so listener discretion is advised on this one. Last thing, we want to remind you that just like ours, Jon's opinions are his own and his own only, and don't necessarily reflect the views of Independence Indoor Shooting or the Range Minded Podcast. So with that out of the way, this was a fantastic episode. We hope you enjoy it as much as we did. Episode 50 of Range Minded, the Getting to Know the IIS Staff Part 2, the Jon Carnes edition. Hello and welcome to Range Minded from Independence Indoor Shooting, episode number 50.
Oh, man.
Episode number 50. My name is Mark Long.
I am Steve Zimmerman in the flesh.
In the flesh, and we are joined by a very special guest, the resident wild card of Independence Indoor Shooting.
Special indeed.
Special indeed, Jon Carnes.
Jon Carnes. If you've been to the shop ever, you've probably seen and talked to Jon.
The Peg Leg Marine.
Get it out of the way now. Yeah,
That's the best way to say
there
it.
goes the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Right?
You can really only tell in the summer, though.
I don't even wear shorts, man. Like, I really don't.
You wore shorts last summer.
I did a little bit, and it was just because it was over 100
Do you know what's
degrees.
crazy? When Jon first showed up, part of the staff, a lot of us had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that one was not from birth.
Right.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
One is technologically superior to the other.
It was never, I don't know. I never wanted to be a defining factor, you know? It was, hey, how'd you lose your leg? You want to hear the funny story or you want to hear the real story? I want to hear both. And I think I have like 5 different funny stories. And it starts out with, so there I was saving a train from a baby. That baby had no right to stop that train. And
that's right.
Man, I just had to, yeah. No. And then there's, remember Swamp People? Yeah, I tried out for Swamp People. I didn't make the cut. I got into a fight with a grizzly bear one time. What happened? Well, obviously I lost. And it was really fun. I was just mowing my lawn one day, Sunday morning. Got into a fight with a lawnmower. Apparently I lost.
He lost.
Yeah. What happened? Oh, I got hit by a drunk driver. Oh, really? What happened to the drunk driver? Well, actually, I was a drunk driver, so I hit myself. It was great. I don't know how I did that, but it was fun.
Well, you've had some time to come up with these, really. And you probably do it to see the looks on people's faces, right?
It's just a shock value.
It's priceless.
That's all it is.
Yeah. No, it's there's a lot more to Jon than just the one leg. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You on the floor here selling guns.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of instruction here.
Yeah.
I don't really do that too much anymore. There's more people here now and things like that. I was needed on the floor, so basically I just sell guns.
You just hang out and have a good time.
Yeah, just hang out and have a good time. I don't know. I fix problems.
Yeah,
Give me a problem, I can fix it.
Sometimes he makes them.
Sometimes I do make them.
But you can fix them too.
Yes, but I can't fix them after I make them. It's great. I don't know. I don't really.
It just shows your added worth right there.
Yeah, right there. I'm automatically in the worth.
Well, I will say you, no matter what, phenomenal person to know. If you don't know Jon, you should, and come into the shop and say hi.
Yeah.
Because, everybody loves Jon.
I don't know about everybody.
A lot of people.
I think that there's a good, like over 50%.
That like you?
That like you or don't like you.
I mean, 50-50.
You're over under.
Yeah, over under. I mean, either way, there's 50% of people that like me and there's 50% that don't. I'm just one of the few people here that will...
Well, it's a better approval rate than Congress, so you're good.
Hey, we're good.
Yeah,
we're
that's
doing
true.
Great.
That's
I
true.
wasn't voted into... I wasn't voted into my position, which is even better. But no, I'm one of the few people that if you come in and if you start speaking certain things that aren't right, I have no problem saying, well, you're wrong. And this is the actual thing. But then at the same time, I've had some people that have come in and they've been much more knowledgeable than me. And they're like, hey, you're wrong. And I think that's kind of the key thing here. It's you always have to be learning, and you always have to be accepted. You know, you always have to accept somebody else's opinion and not get super bent out about it. And that's the one thing that a lot of gun stores just in general do. You have some guy that's, you know, been behind the counter for 15, 20 years, and, you know, he thinks he knows everything, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
And that's how you get people pushed out of a gun store, is because, well, you're wrong. What I said is right. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what your experience is. I said it, so it's right.
Yeah, and we talked about that on the podcast before, about you always, just because of the fact that the gun world is so huge and there's so many different ways that you can go into, or and different avenues you can go down, that you always have to be in a learning mindset. And the minute that you stop being in that learning mindset, you're done.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
I mean, you even see it online too. A lot of people, we were talking earlier about some internet celebrities and some tactical celebrities who they're not learning anymore, and they seem to be.
Apparently, I'm not cool because I'm not on Twitch.
Oh, jeez.
What the hell is Twitch? I'm sorry.
Isn't that
I'm
what
the
it's
most
called? Twitch?
Yeah, it's called Twitch. But John is also out of the loop when it comes to any internet social media things.
Yeah, no, I don't do that.
If you guys think I should be on Twitch, let me know.
Yeah.
And I probably still won't.
I think that you should,
Bill.
but then you shouldn't. Hi, Bill. So Bill is one of our senior pistol instructors over here.
Yeah, we've had Bill on the podcast before.
Senior means I'm old. John knows how to run a gun.
Boom. There it is.
Actually,
that's high praise right there, I would say.
John might even know a little something about selling a gun.
Really?
Oh.
Look at that.
That's
He
high
might even know
praise.
something about being a Marine.
Oh.
Hurry on, Marines!
Well, actually, that's a good segue right there. Let's start from the beginning. You're originally not an Idahoan. You're from Florida, right?
No, I'm from Florida. Actually, so I was, I'm going to shoot myself in the face by saying this, but I was actually born in Redondo Beach, California.
Really?
Yep.
Did not know that.
Right on the beach?
Right on the beach, believe it or not. I was born in Redondo Beach Memorial Hospital or something like that. I don't know. It was less than a mile away.
Some place where
It was
babies
great.
are
But no,
hatched.
No, I grew up in, I was born in 1990 and through 1990 to 98. You know, California is a pretty cool place to live. Of course, I don't really remember the Clinton era, except for, him taking advantage of a couple women. But besides that,
That's a whole nother podcast.
that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, sure is.
But anyways, so growing up in California, I spent most of my time in the water. I learned to swim before I learned to walk.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, kind of weird. But my parents got divorced when I was 4, and my dad moved us around a lot. We settled in Florida
Gotcha.
in 2000, 2001. So yeah, I'm Floridian, technically, I guess. I don't know. I spent most of my time there. And there's a lot of stuff that happened in Florida. I don't know. I wasn't the best kid in the world, to say the least. My dad definitely has a lot of gray hairs because of me. But after I graduated in 2019, or not 19, good Lord, in 2009.
There we go.
Senior.
Yeah, that happened. I went to the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And my mom passed away in February of 19, so she's been dead for 10 years now. And basically, I graduated high school with like a 2.8 GPA. My senior year, I never went to school after
Really?
my mom passed. Yeah,
Sure.
it was bad. I dropped out of football. I dropped out of wrestling. I dropped out of anything.
Yeah.
I had a scholarship to actually go to college and compete in wrestling. And after she passed, me and my dad went through this really weird phase where we didn't talk much.
Sure.
He left. I finished out my somewhat high school education.
Yeah.
In Florida. And 2 + 2 = 8 over there. Just to let you know, okay? So after that, I joined the Marine Corps and I went in the infantry. And basically, I went into the recruiting station. So I went to the Army, Navy, Air Force.
Really? You went all 4?
I went all 3.
All 3?
I didn't even think about the Marine Corps.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
never thought about it.
So do you have, not to interrupt, but did you have any family like in the military prior, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Both my grandfathers were in the military. One was, actually both were Army. And
Look, we have another guy that just
we
showed.
got another
Hello,
guy that come
Ben.
in. There's old Ben.
Oh, Ben.
Hello.
Ben's got to be on the podcast one of these days here. Anyway, so I went to family in the Army back in the day. And then,
back in the day. On my mom's side, my grandfather, he actually was a tail gunner for a B-52.
Oh, wow, okay.
He never got to go overseas, but he was late 45, early 46.
Right at the end.
Yeah, right at the end. Never got to go over. But he was trained for that. And then my mother's uncle, my great uncle, he was a tanker in the first tanks. Yeah.
Okay.
He actually got to go overseas. He never saw any action. And if he did, he wouldn't tell me about it. He just kept telling me about training and stuff like that. And whenever I talked about, any war experience, he wouldn't talk about it. So whatever he did, he wouldn't. But my dad's brother was a legitimate badass. He did 3 deployments to Vietnam.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
66 through 68, he extended.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Did almost full years in Vietnam. Came back, so he was an MP, came back, went into LARP, Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol.
Okay.
Part of the Rangers.
Yeah.
So let's say you have an enemy line, and let's take you about 100 to 200 miles past that, and let's drop you off into a VC camp with about 4 or 5 helicopters worth of guys, and you guys are going to be dropped about 20 miles south of that. You guys are going to do recon on it, and we're going to take it off the face of the earth.
Yikes.
And then he came back after that deployment, went back, did something spooky, something more spooky than LARP.
Yeah.
And about a year and a half, 2 years later, he came back in 72. So about 3 years later, he killed himself.
Gotcha.
The guy, if you've ever been to Vietnam, you can understand. Imagine going back 3 times and being an MP, then LARP, then going in even deeper.
That's a lot of things for anybody to handle.
Yeah. So the Carnes name was kind of settled in that theater.
In military.
Yeah. And my dad, he didn't go into the military. He saw what it did to his brother. Didn't want to be a part of it.
Sure.
And I remember coming home on my 18th birthday, and I remember me and my dad were kind of having a bout at the time.
Sure.
And I remember throwing a contract at him. I said, I need you to sign this. It was right before my 18th birthday, a couple months. And, he started reading it, and it didn't go very well. He found I want to go into the infantry and the Marine Corps infantry. And the reason why I picked that was I went to the Army. They didn't offer me anything that was direct action.
Okay.
They're like, well, you can go do an RD unit. You're there for 2 years, and then you can go, trial for selection.
That's artillery, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, artillery. And then I went to the Navy, and my biggest thing, I wanted to be a medic or a corpsman. Like, I wanted that. Yeah. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. I thought that, patching guys up in the middle of a gunfight was service.
Yeah, for sure.
Not just being in the gunfight, but I thought that was like, bringing guys home that got tore up.
Saving lives, yeah. The whole 9 yards.
That was awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
I went to the Navy, and I wanted to be a SARC, Special Operations Corpsman.
Okay.
I scored really high in the ASVAB. I did really well on my PT test and everything. Every expectation they had, I passed.
Yeah.
So I go there, and I'm going into the DEP program, delayed entry program, and I go there to sign the contract. Navy guys are gone for 2 weeks. Didn't tell me. And I was like, all right.
All that work.
Yeah, geez.
And this dude comes out, and God, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's a staff sergeant. He came over to me and he said, well, they're gone for 2 weeks. I don't know what you're told. I was like, I showed up with a little duffel bag full of clothes for overnight to go to in dock and everything, and
you were ready to go.
I was ready to go.
Man,
just need to sign the contract and get on the bus.
Yikes! Yeah, that's.
He said, "Well, they're gone for 2 weeks." He said, "What'd you want to do in the Navy?" I said, "Well, I want to be a SARC."
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, I got a job for you. Why don't you come over here and talk to me for a minute?" 45 minutes later, I signed a contract.
For the Marine Corps.
Marine Corps infantry.
Man.
They said, we will put you in the best place to be able to do a job.
That's
And
vague.
they asked me, like, what do you want? I told them, I want a family. I want a family. I don't have one right now. My sister was in college. We didn't really talk. My mom was dead and my dad was gone. And
Sure.
I wanted a family.
You're just on your own.
Yeah. 18 years old, just out of high school. Like, give me a family. Let's go. Well, there's this thing called the infantry, and you're going to love these guys. Oh, really? Okay. So fast forward 12 months later, I finally get to my unit. 14 weeks boot camp. 3 weeks after that was recruiting duty in Vegas. Did a lot of dumb stuff in Vegas. After that, you went to something called Infantry Training Battalion. And I went to ITB in Pendleton.
Okay.
Kind of
California.
a weird deal, especially because I went through Parris Island for Marine Corps recruit training.
Okay.
And Parris Island, I don't care who you are, is a lot worse than San Diego.
Yeah, I imagine.
You're on an island, and there's one way in and one way. There's a lot of way in and a lot of way out, but there's only one road, so you can totally swim and try to, you can try to swim across that canal.
It ain't gonna happen.
No, you got gators and you got copperheads and stuff. I remember when we were going through the crucible. It's literally our hell week. It's 3 to 4 days. You're up the whole entire time. You're getting the kicked out of you.
Yeah.
Or the crap kicked out of you. Pardon my language. And you're just doing a bunch of stupid, nothing to do with combat.
And so Parris Island is actually the boot camp location in Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, in South
just
Carolina.
as a reference, yeah.
Actually, the one in Full Metal Jacket was actually filmed in Canada.
Was it really?
It was.
I didn't know that.
It was not filmed in the United States. It was filmed in Canada.
That's
from
ironic.
my understanding. But then again, I have been hit in the head once or twice, so I might be wrong.
But Parris Island was the setting, I guess, that the
that
first
was
half of the movie
setting, yes.
takes place in.
Yeah, and my platoon was 2082, 2802, and I was part of Golf Company. And they used to say, "Hey, 2082, I got you on my finger. It's called a booger." Garbage ass platoon.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. And these were guys from the same company, Golf Company. But yeah, I got my jaw dislocated by a guy named Sergeant Decker. Fitting.
Yeah.
Sergeant Decker decked the crap out of me. I remember the first 2 weeks, like it was engraved in the back of my head. I just, one day, 2 days, no sleeping, 18 years old, the first time I've ever done this sober. Great, this sucks. All right.
So it was like a wannabe seer or what? What were they trying to do?
Oh, no. So the funny thing about the Marine Corps is that the first 2 to 5 weeks of anything is just a haze fest. And that's what people need to understand. Is like the Marine Corps, it's very intense.
Yeah.
Only for a little bit, though. They want to be intense for 2 to 5 weeks at a time. They want to break you down. I mean, they can break you down in less than 5 days.
Sure.
And I've seen guys that have bachelor, doctorate degrees, people that are very smart. And then I've also seen, grease monkeys, guys that are just tough. I broke a couple fingers fixing an engine. Screw it. Don't worry about it. They can break anybody down.
Yeah.
And when you're 18, turning 19, and your mom died about 6 months before you joined the Marine Corps, it's not that hard. So they made me cry pretty much on a daily basis.
Sure.
And it wasn't because I was weak or anything. It was just they knew how to do it.
They knew how to push your buttons.
They're
and
professionals.
They have no reservations about pushing those buttons.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they exploit every weakness, but in reality, it's to help build you up, though, right? To
Yeah, they
overcome
break you down to build you up.
That's what I was leading into. The first 2 to 5 weeks is just I don't care how big of a god you think you are, and you are just nothing more than pond scum.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you how I get you to that point to where you accept that you are literally less than the organism that lives in your body. Oh. Okay. So I think it was about the second or third week. I couldn't really tell you off the top of my head. But he called me, Recruit Carnes. And, it was I think it was in the midday. we've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning. And I turned around and I was like, what? No, it's standing at attention or anything. Just turned around and said, what?
I think I know where the story's going.
Last time I got grabbed like that, I was probably about 12 years old. And I think I accidentally ran over like a pipe or something with a tractor or with like a push mower or something and like cracked the water pipe. Last time I was in that much trouble in my life. This guy literally grabbed me. And he's like 5'8", maybe weighs 130, 140 pounds. And
you're 6'3"?
I was 6'3", and I was 210, 215.
Yeah.
Yeah, he picked me up like I was about a, 1980 something special Barbie doll. And there's something called a whiskey locker. And that's where we keep all of our cleaning products and mops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I remember he brought me in there, and I turned around. That's the last thing I remember.
Damn.
And he hit me once, and he basically dislocated my jaw. I could still pop my jaw.
Oh, yeah, you can hear that.
So I could still pop my jaw after that.
Oh.
And I remember waking up. I remember kind of sitting up, and he was just sitting there. And you can see like 40 veins coming out of his forehead. So he was like, you ever going to say that to me again? This recruit doesn't remember what he said to you. You said, yeah. This recruit doesn't remember that. Good, I hit you hard enough. Get the hell out there.
Wow.
And that was the continuous phase.
Sure.
And a lot of people don't understand that. A recruit you can not welch, but you can rat out your instructors. You can do that.
You can.
But you will never, that will follow you all the way through. You will always be that dumb boot that ratted out your drill instructor. And the thing about the Marine Corps was what made us, so proud and everything.
Yeah.
We didn't rat each other out.
You weren't rats, yeah.
No. So fast forward, a year later, I get to my unit.
Yeah.
The first month I was there was just another haze fest.
Sure.
Congratulations. You are now surrounded by a bunch of 20 to 26-year-old dudes that have been deployed.
And you're 19.
And they are gods and you are not.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. So you're the dumb boot.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's see how tough you are. So it's just a haze fest for the first month to 6 months, basically. So anybody joining the Marine Corps Infantry,
good luck.
Prepare for the shit show.
Yeah.
Pardon my language. But anyways, I got wrapped up in. So one day, we got done with PT at about 06:30. We ran over 10 miles. Went to the pool afterwards. Did about 2,500 meters of swimming.
Man.
This isn't special forces or anything. This is just infantry.
Regular. Yeah.
This is infantry. So people that are like, I'm infantry. It's like, are you? Really? So anyways, after that, I got back to my room, and it was after 7 altogether. And I get my room kicked in by about 12 guys.
Jeez.
I am forced to drink while doing flutter kicks for 30 minutes. So you sit there, you put your hands underneath the back of your butt, and you do flutter kicks while they're pouring vodka. Like, it's not good stuff either. It's like $7 for a gallon.
Skull or McCormick out of a plastic bottle.
Pop-offs.
Yeah. I have a rule. You don't drink anything out of a plastic bottle.
Yeah, don't do that. But anyways, they're pouring, it goes vodka, whiskey.
Dude, I can't even do flutter kicks for 15 seconds, man. That's...
Yeah. So they do that to you. And then they do something called fishing. It's when you do a seated... it's when you do basically an air squat and then you put your back against a wall.
A wall sit kind of thing? Okay.
What they do is that they take this mop handle, about 3 or 4 to 5 feet or however long it is. And you take the mop off of it. So it's this nice metal piece.
Oh,
and you put it right underneath your sternum. And that's where it sits. And you hold it there. And they come over there and they tie your boots together and they put it on there. A little bit of weight so it digs into your sternum.
That's cute.
And they put a Kevlar on there and all this other stuff.
As the weight just increases.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the weight increases and it just digs deeper into your sternum.
Lord.
It's good stuff.
That's fun.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So about 8:30 in the morning, I'm pretty much blacked out drunk, and they thought it'd be funny to everyone kick the crap out of me. Okay, it's our first new guy. Let's just go on ahead and beat the shit out of him. Like, all right, this sounds like a good time. So I'm getting crap kicked out of me by 12 guys, and there's not much you can do. I mean, you punch the guy in the junk once or twice, but it doesn't matter because he's got 11 buddies that are going to kick the crap out of you.
Yeah.
So eventually, I got put into I got tacoed, which is when they take one mattress, they lay you on it, and then they take another mattress and they put it on top of you, and then they duct tape it shut.
Oh my God.
And then they take you up to the third deck and they throw you off with it.
Oh my God.
So I almost broke my neck.
Yeah, I imagine.
Legitimately, like I got a concussion from it and everything, and it was bad.
Man.
But the test was, okay, now we did that to you. What are you going to do? Are you going to go to the first sergeant? Or are you going to go to Gunny? Who are you going to go to and complain? You're going to go, yeah. I didn't say anything.
You just take it.
Just woke up the next morning and I went on PT. I drag ass. I was dragging ass. Don't get me wrong. But I was still trying to keep up. But
you didn't say nothing.
What the hell's wrong with you, Carnes? It's like, what? Oh, you can't keep up? You've only been here for a month. Come on. Oh, you're supposed to be something special.
I don't feel good, sir.
Staff Sergeant, I legitimately just not good.
Yeah.
So anyways, that went on for a couple months, and eventually, they stopped doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know. After that, it was just a lot of training.
Yeah.
Mountain warfare, desert warfare, small unit leadership, team leader, breachers course, demo course. It was over a dozen schools.
Wow.
And that's just, I wouldn't say basic infantry in the Marine Corps. I was very lucky being stationed with the 7th Marines. I was part of 3rd Battalion, 4th Marines, and 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines, and 29 Palms. Those are 2 units I served with on my 2 deployments. And they're one of the most combat deployed units ever, just a battalion in general.
Okay.
So these guys would deploy, come home, do a workup, deploy, come home, do a workup. And that's rotation for them.
You just don't stop.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, you can get out and do all that stuff, but eventually you stop.
Hi, Joey. We're getting all sorts of
Or popular
cameos.
Tonight. Yeah, for sure.
This evening.
See, I told you, everybody loves John. Everyone wants to see John.
Yeah. So after that, I deployed to Jordan, Afghanistan. We went over to Jordan. Nothing really to talk about. We trained a bunch of guys. Worthless. And went to Afghanistan after that. So when we came home from that deployment, we got a lot of tastes for things. And we got a lot of experience. We got a lot of training under our belts. And we went... after about 3 weeks of us being home, in early 2011, early to mid, there was another deployment coming down for 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines, and I took a squad over to them because they were combat ineffective for a weapons platoon. They were just missing a bunch of guys. Mm-hmm. So, took 12 guys over. And we went to Sangin, Afghanistan, in 2011. And it wasn't as bad as the 2010 deployment, but it was still bad. Getting shot at on post, sidestepping IEDs. The Afghan counterparts we had were basically children with AK-47s. I mean, they were full-grown men and everything like that, but they were just...
The way they were acting.
No, they're stupid.
Yeah, their mentality of a conflict was totally different, and they didn't take it as serious because they just grew up that way.
Yeah, they grew up that way. It was. Yeah, and I don't really have too much nice stuff to say about that place. I'm gonna leave it at that, or the people that live there, or people that come from there.
Messed up. It's a messed up place.
I didn't go to a nice place, and I didn't deal with nice people.
Sure.
And both my experiences overseas were kind of like that. So we'll fast forward to the day I got blown up. So November 16, 2011, we left the wire early, and we were going to go do a just recon / knock patrol, look around, kind of find some people and take care of them. Mm-hmm. During that time, though, we found a couple IEDs. We found a daisy chain. That's when there are multiple IEDs linked together. And then we stepped on mine as well. But we walked over my IED probably 6 or 7 times before it went off. Yeah. So at the time, I was 6'4", 230, 240. And I probably had about 100 to 150 pounds of gear on me. Not just armor, ammo, gun. I mean, I had a pack with me with
your ruck was just loaded.
Your ruck's loaded with demo, ammo, batteries. I was a team leader at the time, so I had a radio. And I was also rocking a Thor, which is something that blocks... So we have low band, mid band, and high band. Low band is like garage door openers. They can use that. Anything that's IR or anything like that.
You're talking about the radio frequencies?
Yeah, radio frequencies. Yeah. Okay. So low band.
That's how they detonate, right?
Yeah, that's how they control detonate.
Gotcha.
So anyways, we would stop controlled detonates and things like that. The only way that we would actually hit an IED and go off is if we stepped on it, and if it was a pressure plate, which is the one that I stepped on was. Mm-hmm. It was 10 pounds. And about 6 to 8 pounds went off. So I was supposed to be a triple amputee.
Uh-huh.
So my left leg's just tore up. My right leg's gone. And my right arm was broken in half, and a bunch of muscle damage and stuff. And I lost a little bit of my left lung. Had a pulmonary embolism.
Jeez.
So I had a 30% chance of living. And 2 days later, I wake up, and I was in Germany. Yeah, it was weird. Last thing I remember is getting on a bird, and one of the guys saying, "All right, both your legs are or screwed." Pardon me.
It's all right.
Both your legs are done. Your right arm's done, and you are bleeding internally. So I'm going to stick you with some morphine, and I'm going to open up your lung. And that's the last thing I remember.
Man.
And then I woke up 2 days later with my dad over me.
In Germany.
Yeah, because I only had a 30% chance of living. And if you have less than 40% chance, they bring your family in so they can pull the cord.
I see.
So,
man, that's just so heavy duty stuff, man. That's just...
Well, the scary thing is that I woke up and I saw 2 of my guys, Chachi Corral and Zach Reif. Mm-hmm. And they were both KIA'd. And their families were pulling the plugs when I woke up. So apparently I went into cardiac arrest at that point in time. I had a heart attack.
Really?
Yeah.
Just from the stress of that situation?
Yeah.
It's understandable for sure.
Yeah. And then basically 2012 was a blur, and 13. I don't remember much from that.
And that was all kind of
that was all,
I was recovering.
I was on bed in a ketamine coma basically for 4 months. And if anybody's been on ketamine before, it's called a K-hole. And if you've ever been on it before, it's like LSD, but like the bad stuff. It's instead of like good trippy dreams, it's like, hey, remember that time you almost got shot on post? Let's relive that, but like 100 times worse.
Oh my God, man.
So, I don't know. After that, I got out in 2014, and I lost my identity. That was a big thing for me. Uh-huh. I just wanted to be an infantry marine. I wanted to further my career, either try out for recon or MARSOC or anything like that. That's what I wanted to do. And when you're 21 years old and you're sitting in a bed and somebody hands you a check for, X amount of money because you lost your limbs, and they say, hey, congratulations, you got this much money, but you're never going to kick another door in for the Marine Corps. It's like, okay, this is what I planned on doing for the rest of my life.
Your life.
Yeah. Something that you've emotionally invested a lot of time into, and then just gets taken from you.
I got thrown off a 3rd floor balcony for, it's a lot. I mean, that's...
Well, the thing that really messed me up was that it was my family.
Yeah.
And in a way, they were like, well, we're done with you. Don't get me wrong. Every time I'm in Marine, it's like meeting family. But at the same time, it was just like one of those like super big kick in the nuts. Like, oh, okay, that's over. So I went to Florida and I became a charter captain. I had a 6-pack license for a little while, and I did private charters. And I was a peg leg pirate, man. It was great. I drank rum every day.
You really owned the identity.
I really did, man.
Yeah. Did you have a beard too?
I did.
Nice.
I looked like a cancer patient, but I had a beard. Anyways, eventually I had to come back to do some surgeries on my legs. And the best hospital at the time was in California.
Okay.
So I went back to California.
Back to California.
And I went to Palo Alto. And after about 1.5 years of fighting with the doctors and everything, they officially denied me healthcare.
What?
No. The VA can do that. There's this little paragraph. It's not just a little paragraph, but there's a bunch of paragraphs that says if they can't improve or fix your situation, they have the legal right of telling you to pound sand.
Really?
Oh,
That's the
as
thing
a
about
civilian, that pisses me off.
Yeah,
that's the VA for you.
That's infuriating.
Yeah. And guys that have cancer and stuff like that from Vietnam and Iraq and, all these other different conflicts that we've been in with a bunch of dirty stuff, those guys will die before they ever see a doctor that can fix them. And that's the VA's. So when I go to the VA, what they try to do is narc me up. They try to give me a bunch of narcos, a bunch of psychos, and all this other stuff. And then what the VA does is they try to numb you.
Yeah, Band-Aid solution.
And I will say this right now. The VA has killed more veterans than both wars, or even however many wars we're in right now.
Man.
They've killed more service members than the enemy has ever killed in the last 20 years. I think the VA is the #1 killer of veterans.
It's horrible, man.
And if anybody from the VA is listening, you suck.
We told you John's going to tell you like it is.
No, you suck. You should honestly go on ahead and take that same medication and that same treatment and everything and see how well that works out for you after a year. Okay? Now go on ahead and do that for 8 years. Or screw that. Guys that have been through Vietnam and they're still sitting there in wheelchairs, just getting dicked around. So after that, I went through Stanford. In the same area, and they fixed me. In 72 hours, I had a surgery, complete succession.
Wow.
Done.
But wait, you were unfixable.
Oh, yeah.
Wait. They said they couldn't fix you anymore.
Yeah, the amazing doctors at the VA told me that I'm unfixable and they can't do anything. But within 72 hours at Stanford, I had complete succession of a surgery and 100% recovery.
That's crazy.
It's great.
It's just the whole medical world and the healthcare world and the country at large, man. Just, it's crazy.
Let's call on the one care health provider. Let's do that. That's a great idea. That's why everyone from Canada comes down here for emergency surgeries. Yeah, that's a great idea. So, anyways, after that debacle in California, I basically wrote that state off.
Sure.
And there's some other stuff that happened there. I went through community college there, and, I had some kids call me white privileged. I went to private school for...
They have no idea.
Yeah. I went to private school for 2 years. It was first grade. Then my parents got divorced. And then I went through it in 6th grade. And I actually got kicked out of that school because apparently I was too big of a handful.
Oh.
Never had braces. I started working when I was 13. And I went to the Marine Corps. I was like, yeah, I'm real privileged. Yeah, this is great. Yeah.
Yeah, that probably sat real well with you.
Yeah. I'm not going to go into too much detail on what happened at that point in time in that school, but basically I was asked to leave. So I left and kind of went through a little bit of a crisis for about a month or two. And I came out here to visit some family, and I found out that Idaho is actually a pretty cool place.
It's not too bad, is it?
It's not bad at all.
Just get past the winter time.
Even then, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
Well, but
It's
from
only a
Florida
couple
and California, I guess you don't really deal with snow at all.
No, I think the coldest I got in Florida during the wintertime where I was at in Fort Myers, it was like 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're wearing shorts and shorts. You're wearing shorts and this like big fluffy jacket. It's like, but you're still wearing shorts.
And probably sandals too, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was weird.
But they're insulated.
Insulated scene. He's wearing Crocs.
Yeah, those rainbows, man, they're great. You got the fluffy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
So, eventually I came here, and actually Steve did the NRA certification for me.
Really? As an RSO or an instructor, or which one was
As
it?
an instructor, actually.
Okay.
It was kind of fun being able to use all that stuff that I learned in the Marine Corps to do that here. And that's what I do. I'm one of the pistol/carbine and shotgun instructors. Other than that, man, I just sit on the floor and I just talk to people about guns all day. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And
man, what a story.
no, and you know, the thing that was really nice about the California experience is that that's where I met my wife. We have a beautiful daughter now.
She is.
Yeah, and she's pretty new still, only a couple months, right?
She's 3 months old.
3
man.
months, man,
Three
yeah.
to 4 months. She's between there. I think it's kind of weird when people are like, "No, she's 3 months, 2 weeks, and 4 days old." It's like, holy crap.
She's 15 weeks old, okay? Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
He showed me pictures of her. She is a doll. She's
is.
cute.
Awesome.
Yeah, she
Very
definitely
cool.
got her looks from her mom, but she got her
that's true.
personality from me, which is funny because she laughs at the most random stuff. It's weird because me and my wife will start talking shit to each other a little bit.
Yeah.
Start talking crap, and she'll start laughing.
Oh, really?
She does that.
Oh, man.
She will laugh at certain
You
things.
have your job cut out for you
Yeah,
in about
man.
4 years.
Oh, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, there was a saying, hell hath no fury as a man who has a daughter, or something like that. It's not a woman or anything, but it's like, if you've lived an interesting life, you're going to have an interesting child.
Yeah, I bet. It's like in the genetics or something like that.
I have a
like,
beautiful daughter, a shovel, and a shotgun.
And a bag of lime. You go on ahead and figure out what we're going to do.
You make the next move.
You know, my favorite thing is that I'm going to do. So I used to be this like, I'm the first guy that comes over. I'm going to throw a round at him. You know, hey, come a lot faster after 9:30. What's your rules of dating your daughter? Be like, ask her. Ask Luella.
Yeah.
She knows exactly the rules of dating her. She knows exactly what she's worth, and she knows all that stuff. And trust me, by the time of 15, she's going to be able to rip somebody's head off.
Oh, I'm sure. Probably by
The nice
kindergarten.
thing is, though, is like if you have to be the badass dad, like it's pretty obvious they could look at you and be like, I'm scared of John. But they look at me and they're like, that bald fat guy.
Fat guy can't even talk good.
Yeah. You don't talk so good.
You
Yeah.
don't talk so good. You speak that English well.
I told my daughter, right, maybe I've said this already, like if she just got braces, my
Oh,
oldest
yeah.
daughter,
Yeah.
and I told her, if the boys are giving you crap, just tell them my dad's not scared to go back to prison. She's like, you've never been to prison, Dad? And I'm like,
They don't know that.
Doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter.
They don't know that. No.
Bill's back again.
Bill's back. Hey, Bill.
I went like this. It's a podcast.
Oh, man. So, well, thank you for sharing your story. I mean, you've been through a lot, man. And
I
you're
don't
still
know about
here.
that.
You said,
Well, you've been through your fair share. We'll call it that. And we're happy to have you here. We're thankful
absolutely.
you're
There
here
we go.
at the shop,
Yeah,
too.
I'm happy to be here.
Because, I mean, just from one of the first days I met you, I mean, you can tell that you have a lot of knowledge about, training and firearms and defense and all that kind of stuff.
not just the
And-
knowledge, but the passion with it too. And that's,
Yeah, it's funny because some people, like you say, you tell it like it is and stuff like that, and that may rub people the wrong way or whatever. But it's because you are passionate about it and you do care, and I think you want things done the right way, and
Yeah, and I mean,
without any, hullabaloo about it.
yeah, and this is my career. This is what I have put the last 12 years of my life into. It's
Yeah.
firearms and instructing, teaching, training, all that stuff. I mean, it's stuff that I've used, practical application. It's stuff that I've trained, and it's stuff that I've actually seen work.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that cynical person or anything like that, but the world's not a nice place. And the best way of saying it is this: it's better to have a fire extinguisher and not need it than need it and not have it.
100%.
So, with that being said, you don't have to dig too deep into it. And you don't have to make it this grandiose, monster of it's, firearms. And listen, if you come out and if you admit that you don't know anything or you need help, you will get everything you need. But if you come out thinking that you know everything and that you don't need to learn anything else,
you already lost at that point.
100%.
you're done. Like your ego is not your amigo. Like, leave that at the door. That's what I tell everybody that I instruct. That. I don't care if I'm doing two people at a time, or that sounded wrong, right?
We start one time. How do I bleep that?
Yeah, I know, right? Well, it doesn't matter if I have 2 people on the range or 20 people on the range. It doesn't matter if you're a Navy SEAL or you're a medical, nurse or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't care. We're going to start from the basics and we're going to work our way up. Okay. And that's the thing about military training and civilian training. Like, we were talking about that a couple days ago.
Yeah, about the differences between the two.
The difference is repetition. We'll do it 100 or 1,000 times before we ever do it live with live ammo. And that's the difference. It's just repetition. And professionals do it till they get it wrong. Service members, too, they do it till they get it wrong, then get it right, and get it wrong, then get it right. They have to have that. There's that fog of war and all this other stuff. And if you can't get past that, and if you can't work through that in a training scenario, training scenario, how are you going to be able to do that in a combat situation?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that we all were taught. It's all fun and games until metal hits meat, or until the metal eats, or
Metal hits meat.
Metal hits the meat.
There we go. Yeah. Well, that's what we've talked about before too, is that we say it over and over again, is it, in a situation, whether it's combat or self-defense situation out, in the civilian world, it's, you will default to your lowest level of training.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it too, where you may, if you're not kind of inoculated to that stress and training and all that kind of stuff, you may just freeze. Yeah. And then you've automatically lost, and nothing's going to happen.
And I've done that
nothing
before.
Good's going to happen.
There's been times where I've been like,
Really?
But you work through it.
Yeah.
And I've gotten the crap kicked out of me because of it. But when it came down to actual theater operations and things like that, it's muscle memory at that point in time. And there's a reason why they're scared of us. There's a reason why the Taliban and everybody else in the world is like, they might not be the best people in the world, but they're probably not somebody you want to screw with.
Don't want to, yeah. Not a good friend, but not a good enemy.
Yeah, great friends, worst enemies.
Yeah.
So, I just kind of want to leave it at this. Like, if you are very serious about going in the military, think about after the military.
Yeah.
Think about your time during it, and be careful what you wish for, because I can tell you, I wished for it, and I wanted to go to the worst place and deal with the worst people, and I got exactly what I wanted, and I'm lucky enough to live through it.
Yeah.
So
it is kind of funny. I never served in the military. I work obviously close to a lot of people have. I've been privileged a lot to work with people that have done some pretty crazy things. Yeah. And been able to come back and talk about it. Yeah. And then you see these kids, right, that and maybe you were here. There was a kid that wanted to be a Navy SEAL, and
oh god, that kid.
He was all excited about it, right? And even as a civilian, I could look at it and be like,
you ain't gonna make it.
He's gonna get chewed up and spit out of the machine in a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, right? We watch movies and we see like 13 hours, and sure, it's stressful, but man, that'd be so cool to be in a firefight.
You see the romanticized
maybe
version
not
of
so
it,
much, because it takes its toll.
Watch somebody that you love and care about get taken from an earth in front of you, and just deal with that.
Yeah,
30 seconds. Just
real stuff.
Yeah, think about somebody that you care about and you love about more than yourself.
And that's the thing, you mentioned it was a family.
Yeah.
So you are.
Yeah, you were
brothers, right?
No, the guys that I serve with, I consider more family than I have actual family. And I got a sister and a dad that I don't talk to anymore, but I got a sister, but I can guarantee you that those guys that are still left here,
yeah,
without a doubt. I got a guy, Aguayo, he's in Texas. He called me right now. I'd be like, see you guys. I'm going to Texas.
You're on a plane, yeah.
I'm on a plane, with a newborn and a wife. Mm-hmm. We're going to Texas. Colorado, just the guys that are still around, that's my family. I trust him with everything, including my life, my money, my wife, money, wife, life. That's what I trust him with.
Yeah.
And that's just the mentality that we had. And it was it was sacred. It was this out of body experience that you get from being around other people that, listen, we've all trained thousands and thousands and thousands of hours together. We've done the same thing. We're here to do the same thing. And when we left, we all made agreements to each other. Like, if I get hurt this way, you don't let me come home, this and this. If I die, there's all these promises made.
Right.
And these promises have to be upheld.
There's just no other way around it. Yeah.
And that's love. Like, that is somebody that's like, listen, I'll do whatever I can do to keep you alive. But at some point in time, you gave me, how do I say it?
It's like a pact.
Yeah. It's a pact.
There's an agreement.
Yeah, there's an agreement. Don't let me come home if this happens. I love you. But at the same time, it was weird because we all were sitting in a tent on our second deployment, and there's like 5 of us around there, and we all kind of looked at each other and said, we're all dead. So we should just act that way. And it was weird because it led us to our job better. We never thought we were coming home. And that was the thing that made it easier. Like, we're already dead, but we're just alive today. Let's see if we make it to...
So might as well just...
make it to tomorrow. What are we going to do?
Man.
Yeah.
And that's what scared the crap out of everybody we fought.
Yeah.
Because you got a bunch of 19 to 20-something-year-old dudes.
I just don't care anymore, yeah.
We're like, listen, we're here, man.
It's not that they don't care. It's that they're not afraid of death.
Yeah.
It's not...
Well, they
not
don't care about anything standing in their way from their objective or the goal of,
No, we're here to do a job.
Yep.
That's my brother.
And you'll do it.
I will decimate everything that you love and care about to save him and to make sure that he comes home. And I will gladly put myself in front of everything that you got. And I will make sure he comes home. And that was the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
That's still the same thing. I mean, I can meet a Marine from Vietnam and it's like family.
Yeah.
So...
Well, that's good. I mean, I think that there's no better advice that you could probably give, especially to folks who are maybe trying to get into the... Yeah, and that's okay.
Heavy there, didn't
That's
we?
okay.
It got deep.
It got deep.
Life isn't all sunshine and rainbows, John.
Oh, it's not.
As you well know.
No.
But, it's interesting because despite everything that you've been through, you're one of the funniest people I've ever met.
If you can't laugh at this stuff, you're screwed. Okay, listen, I got a 1 foot in the door, 1 foot in the grave, and I can put my foot in my mouth or I can break it off in your ass. Either way, like I got a Swiss Army leg.
Yeah, carbon fiber too.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I haven't seen the new leg.
You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen the new
It's
leg.
actually not carbon fiber anymore. They actually use a soap rock. And they lace it with some... Yeah, it's weird. It's lighter, but tougher than carbon fiber.
Weird.
It's from Coyote Prosthetics. If any amputees are listening, check out Coyote Prosthetics because it is amazing.
Yeah, well, and if you don't mind me sharing this, you were having some issues with your last one.
Yeah.
It was irritating and ththings got a little hairy there for a second. But I mean, I don't think you've complained about this one once. I mean, you don't complain ever. You never complained about it, but
he bitched to me all the time.
But
you're full of it now.
I could tell you were irritated. But with this, it's a night and day difference. So
I was. Now I'm starting to be able to run again, being able to rock climb again.
That's awesome.
The wife won't let me do it, but I want to go do a contract or something like that. I would love to do that again. But mostly the thing is just getting back into training again, being able to do, 8 to 10 hour training days, moving over 5 miles at a time. That's my goal.
Yeah. You'll do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just don't want to be one of those people that are like, oh, I lost my leg from some stupid incident and it hinders me. Like, no. Like the
You're
only
not going to let it stop you.
No,
yeah.
The only reason why you are limiting yourself is because you are limiting yourself.
That's right.
It's you.
It's in your head.
Yeah. You have no mental strength. You have no. Just if you can get your mind to tell your body to shut the hell up, It doesn't take much. It really doesn't. Okay. Like I graduated with like a less than 2.8 GPA. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not smart, book smart, but I have the ability to tell my brain, no, you're wrong. Shut up. I'm not listening to you. We're going through this. You have two choices. You either follow or you stay behind. And if it stays behind, it's a weird feeling. When your mind is not with you, it's a weird feeling, and you just go off muscle memory. That's what it was. And that's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
But people that sit there and give me excuses after excuses, I did it for a little while. Don't get me wrong.
Sure. I think it can happen to anybody.
Yeah, it can happen to anybody. The way to get out of that, though, is to say, no, you're done. We're doing it this way. ABC, not ZXY. Okay? And that's all it was. It was just a different thought process. And it doesn't take, years and years of mental Marine Corps abuse and, combat. Take that. It just takes 2 seconds out of your day to go, shut up. Just say that to yourself. Shut up.
It's that easy.
It's that easy.
Yeah.
Just shut up. And don't think anything more than that, and don't give it any more power. Just shut your mouth. We're going through this. We're going to do this. Oh, okay. And you'll get this weird sinking feeling in your stomach of like, I just swallowed a pound of rocks. It's called confidence, okay?
It's the right thing. Yeah, you're feeling the right thing at that point.
Yeah, you're not... You're not going into this 100% confident. You're just going in confident enough that, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah. Some people say that courage usually comes in during or after whatever you're doing, not before. So,
yeah, no. Before it's called dumbness, or not dumbness. Pardon me. Before that, it's called being stupid. During, it's called being courageous, and afterwards, it's called honorable.
Yeah.
And the only difference is that people that get through it get to get called that. And there's plenty of guys. I couldn't tell you how many Afghan National Army, Afghan military police, Afghan couldn't tell you how many we lost.
Joey.
Gosh. It's popular
in here. But the difference with the individuals that actually would work with us and would train with us, they're there for a different reason. But the Afghans that we did lose, 9 times out of 10 was because they were stupid.
Really?
Yeah. They'd go pick up a magazine that's laying in the ground. Did you drop that? No.
Then don't touch it.
Don't pick it up.
Yeah.
And boom. Can't. I'm sorry. Sucks that your buddy just pulled a magazine off the ground and he just got 10 pounds of directional right to him. Here's a gigantic Ziploc bag. Why don't you just find what you can? We're going to go look for his gun. Why are you looking for his gun? Why are you looking for him?
So they don't take it.
So the freaking Taliban doesn't take, because the AK, it's so funny because the AK is pretty much completely interchangeable other than a couple certain parts and a couple certain companies.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if the whole gun's killed as long as the bolt carrying group. Yeah. Is that bolt carrying group good? Yeah. Okay, great. They'll pull the bolt carrying group out and they'll put it in a gun that doesn't have one. Hey, how's the barrel? The barrel's fine. They'll have some guy heat it up, knock it out with a press and everything. They'll take the barrel out of it. They build guns. It's weird because we've had Russian barrels with Chinese lowers with with Palestine, whatever the frick it is, upper, that top cover, and all of a sudden it's got an American buttstock from, Palmetto State. It's weird stuff, man.
That's crazy.
And it's all these weird things. And another thing, too, was the weapons caches that we'd find. You're finding, ammo cans that were stuffed in there in the late 70s, early 80s from the Ruskies, and they're still good. But old Terry over here knows where they're at. It was just an interesting place, man. And just the stuff you saw over there. And then when I come home, everyone wants to thank you. And I get it. Guys that went through Vietnam, they did not get that. They did not get that when they came home.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that I want that. But 9 times out of 10, when I get a thank you, it's like, oh, hey, really heartfelt. Nope, not heartfelt at all. Here's a shitty handshake.
It's just
Thank
kind
you
of
for
a
your
pleasantry.
service. Yeah, and it's like, do you feel better about yourself now?
It's more self-serving than actually.
Yeah. That's why I tell most people I got hit in a car accident. Oh, immediately the conversation stops there.
Really?
As soon as I tell them I got blown up, tell me about it. Oh no, I got hit by a drunk driver. Oh, it's not that interesting anymore, is it?
That's fascinating, actually.
Oh, it's hilarious because this is how I know that this country is going in a different direction. Okay, you have so many people that are anti-war, anti-military, anti-gun, anti-this, and everything like that. But then all of a sudden, you will put out 3 or 4 blockbusters a year that are gunfighting, whatever it is, John Wick, whoever it is, okay? Multi-million, 100 million, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So when people sit there and say they don't like guns, I'm a Democrat. I don't like guns. I'm a liberal. I think guns are horrible. I think that nobody should own them. I literally look right at them and I go, you're stupid, okay? You are an individual that legitimately should never own a gun. And if somebody comes into your home and breaks into your home and starts executing your family, what are you going to do? Call the cops? Great. You got a 4 to 8 minute window.
Yeah.
How long is it going to take for me to do whatever I want to your family? With this, that, everything. At least put up a fight.
Yeah, I always say that your safety and the safety of your family is your own responsibility. And
Yeah.
Cops can be what it is or what it isn't.
Cops are here to enforce a law. They're not here to protect you.
Yeah.
Okay? They're not. Your personal safety, that is like a human right. The Second Amendment, it was for us to overthrow our government. Like, if you guys don't like Trump, 100,000 of you people can show up with guns and kill everybody.
Yeah.
And take back your country, okay? That's the whole entire point for the Second Amendment. It's not for your right to, for your personal protection, for your right to hunt, for your right to... No, it's a right for you to overthrow your government and take back your country. So every time somebody sits there and says, hey, Second Amendment's this, no. Shut your stupid face. You literally, the whole entire thing for the Second Amendment is for you to kill your own government to take your country back. That's it. Your right to protect yourself, that's a human right, okay? Your right to provide meat for your family, that's a human right, okay? That is just a normal right as a human being. You should have the right to be able to protect your home, to protect your family, and to be able to provide meat for your... that human right, okay? Whole entire licensing and everything, I think that's stupid as well, but don't get me wrong. I understand that you need to regulate that because you'd have a bunch of people just going out there whacking everything. That's what happened to the Roosevelt elk. I get it. But the Second Amendment was set up for us to be able to kill our own government. That's it. Stop it. Like, stop making this whole entire thing. Oh, high capacity magazines are horrible. The only people that are committing these crimes are criminals, okay? So let's go on ahead and just put this into this whole entire criminal I'm just going to go on a rant. Sorry. I hate it. I think it's stupid. And I honestly, every time somebody tells me that guns are horrible, or this and that, just, oh my God, please.
One thing's for sure about John.
Yeah.
He really suppresses his passion about things.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, he really keeps it inside.
Yeah,
so.
I really do. I do. I don't feel bad, but at the same time, it's just one of those things that nobody wants to say. I mean, honestly, have you ever heard anybody? I've heard a few people say that, but at the same time, like, how honest is that? That's the whole entire point for the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No.
That's
the whole point. That's what it says.
Whole point. This whole entire regulated militia and everything like that. That was a bunch of dudes sitting back in the 1770-something trying to be correct.
Checks and balances.
Yeah.
No. They should have just said, listen, the Second Amendment is here for you to be able to own military grade, whatever it is.
Told you, John's going to tell you what he thinks.
That's right.
So.
Sorry.
Honey badger.
Okay.
Sorry, but not sorry. But you know what's really funny? I think California should do a complete gun ban. Go for it.
Just to see what happens.
Yeah. I want to see what happens. And
I've seen a couple people say that.
So did you see what Hawaii did?
No, what did they do?
They're working on a state level repeal of the Second Amendment.
Go for it.
100%.
Go for it. Do it. You know what's going to be really funny? Some freaking pissed off country is going to come over there and just waste everybody.
And just take over Hawaii.
Yeah. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to throw a spear at me? You're going to try to fish hook me? Really? What are you going to do?
That's going to happen.
Yeah, that ain't going to happen. Have you ever seen The Rock?
Yeah, he's a Samoan. He's a Pacific Islander.
The movie or the person?
The person. Not that shitty Scottishman. Look, I loved how they actually put Sean Connery as the captain of a Russian submarine. Ship. I was like, really? You couldn't have gotten like Putin or somebody on that bitch? Really? You had to
real
put
Russian?
Sean Connery?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we just went off a tangent. Anyways.
Well, no, I think that. Oh, go ahead.
So, The Rock. Anyways, big, huge guy, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine like 1,000 of those dudes coming at your ass on a
No.
beach?
I
No.
have seen Tongans pissed off.
Yeah.
It is scary.
Yeah, no, I'm good. No,
Yeah.
those are the people that I'm all right. We're good. We can just go on ahead and just, another thing too, though, I mean, they have the right to be able to do whatever they want on their island. It's their island.
Yeah.
We're just visitors.
It was.
Well, it still is. It'll be there after too.
Yeah, no. That's the one thing. I'm like, listen, I get it, Pearl Harbor and all that stuff happened out there, but like Hawaii, I don't know. I got mixed feelings about that, man. Like, I get it that, we had a base there and stuff like that, and some bad shit went down in the 40s, but that's their place.
Yeah. Well, John, I think we'll call it a night from there, man.
We'll call it a night after that. We're starting to get into a bunch of weird stuff.
No, but see, this is what I love about John is he says what everybody's thinking.
What else are we thinking?
I don't know. We'll be here for another hour if we want to go that route.
Yeah,
but
right.
I'm not sure where the weeds ended.
No, there was. Yeah, see, we got Ben here. We got Cody here hanging out. You've gained an audience. So,
yeah.
But no, seriously, thank you for sharing your story. And thanks for being here. We're thankful to have you.
No, thanks for having me.
Everybody loves you, man. So come see John at Independence. Take a lesson or two from him. Come buy a gun from him. He'll tell you everything you need to know. And now if you've listened to this podcast, you know he has the experience
And
to back it up.
no problem telling you the truth.
Yeah, and come in and tell John why you have the best gun and see what he says.
Tell me about your CZ. I would love to hear about your CZ.
Ooh.
Yeah, Eureka Pabst Blue Ribbon, and you got a man bun, you got a CZ. I would love to hear about how your CZ is the best thing in the world and about how you can shoot that thing the best. And I love your shot group at 3 yards, and it looks like a 12 gauge double aught buck at 25 yards. Please tell me more about how your CZ is accurate. I love it.
You know what's going to happen too is after this episode, John's going to sell more guns than anybody in the whole store.
And I want to buy a CZ. It's great.
Man, I'm going to go buy a CZ from John and see what he says.
Dude, I'd rather sell you a Taurus than a CZ.
Oh, man.
Yeah, at least that thing holds 12 rounds without having any problems.
I guess I shouldn't have my eyes on an SP01 then, huh?
You know what, man? So here's my thing. All right.
You mean SP101?
Yeah. So here's
No,
my thing
an
about
SP01.
So here's my thing about CZ. Okay. I've shot the P10. I shot the 75
Yeah.
in very different configurations. I like it.
Yeah.
They're great guns. I just won't buy it because people with man buns and patchouli oil that drink really shitty beer, they buy them. And
So it's on principle.
it's on principle right now.
Right, it's not
I
on
think that
merit,
they're
it's
great
on
guns,
principle.
but I'll
So
never
what you're
own
saying
one.
is
Choose the authoritarian route and buy a Glock.
Yeah. Why don't you just go on ahead and man up and figure out that you don't need a safety in your world and just get a Glock? You'll be fine.
Just buy a Glock. Yeah, just buy, because John's a Glock guy through and through. You've got.
you're saying that
handful.
Glock guys had kids, and those are the ones buying CZs.
Oh my God.
Buy a Rock Island.
Oh wow. You did not just say Rock Island. If you want to buy a cheap 1911 and actually put about $200 into it and make it worth something, get a Rock Island. Yes. Oh hey,
Well, it's just
look,
like-
you got one on your hip right now with about $300 worth of stuff on it, and it's actually pretty nice.
Just like buying a Glock and putting $500 into it.
You shut your mouth. You shut
I
your
don't know.
mouth.
I've gotten onto the wrong side of John now. We
Oh
better
my
end this
gosh.
podcast
I
before I
love
get
Apex.
before I
love
get a foot in my mouth, a
Apex
literal
and
foot in my
Trichicon.
mouth.
Please send me products, please. And Zev.
Oh man, well we'll have to have Ben and Cody on sometime soon here, and Cody's our one of our
It
gunsmiths.
sounds
and
like they prefer just to holler
they're
from
just the
behind
peanut
scenes.
gallery. Yeah,
Like a peanut gallery.
yeah.
Or
Yeah.
skaters.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, we'll close it for now. If you have a question for John or anything like that, come stop by the store or send us an email, podcast@iishooting.com, or email us. Or I said email us. Email us at podcast@iishooting.com. Facebook.com/Range Minded Podcast. Also Instagram,
Yeah.
Range Minded Podcast.
We got to fix that.
We're getting our social media game
So
up.
do you know what you call a man with no shins?
The CZ owner?
Do you know?
No, tell me.
Tony.
Ah, Tony. Get it? Tony.
Wow.
Oh,
Apparently he's the only one that thought it was funny.
man. Smoke more crack, kids.
Perfect. Thanks for listening.
edit
We'll
that
talk
out.
to you next time.
We'll see ya.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Range Minded. Find us online at Range Minded Podcast on Facebook or send us an email at podcast@iishooting.com. We're always happy to get feedback, episode suggestions, whatever you want to send us, really. And be sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and pretty much wherever else you get your podcasts from. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.